today, and it's about the issue of skilled trade and young people. Because, as you know, Debbie, do you go in French, English?
Je peux faire les deux. I can do both. So,
okay.
Wait, even though I'm with the Catholic French School Board?
Yeah, I understand. It's just to see if I will be going back and forth in French and English, or between you and Brad. I don't know, Brad. I'm just assuming that you don't speak French. I don't know why.
Just un peu.
Yeah, I don't even know why. Okay, so Debbie, are you okay with joining in the English?
Yes,
okay,
yeah,
perfect.
For sure.
Right. Okay, but anytime, feel free. If you want to say whatever you want to say in French, feel free to say it in French. There is a translation that is going on. Donc, il y a quand bien même on a deux panélistes, pardon, Debbie a accepté de parler en anglais. Mais comme vous savez, vous qui nous écoutez, il y a la traduction simultanée qui se passe en même temps. Donc, vous pourrez écouter dans la langue qui vous convient. Thank you, both of you, for agreeing to do this and to be here today. So I will introduce the panelists that we have. First, we have Mr. Bradford. He is Vice President of Government and Stakeholder Relation for the Mississauga Board of Trade. Prior to this, Brad served as the Member of Parliament for Mississauga Streetsville from May 2011 to October 2015, and as President of the Greater Toronto Apartment Association for 12 years. He has always been a very active volunteer in the community, currently serving as Director of the Mississauga Meadowvale Rotary Club, second Vice President of the Royal Canadian Legion Streetsville branch, and Vice Chair of Heart House Hospice. And we have our second panelist, and who's Miss Debbie Callan. Elle est originaire de la région de Nipissing, dans le nord de l'Ontario. Elle détient un diplôme en littérature italienne de l'Université d'Ottawa et une certification en affaires et commerce du collège. Avant d'entamer une carrière en éducation, Madame Callan a travaillé dans le secteur financier pendant 10 ans avant de débuter sa carrière. And welcome to our summit today. And we will be talking about youth, because it's usually that sector that sometimes we don't pay too much attention to, and we should. Because for the longest time now, we've been talking about, especially when it comes to Francophone employment, bilingual. As I mentioned earlier, in the year 2000, the situation that we had was that there were more positions to fill than people to fill those positions when it came to bilingual positions. And that hasn't changed. But now it's just that we've tried immigration a lot, but we're seeing that sometimes we forget about those that we have here, how we can build the skills from the bottom up. That means when they're still even younger, preparing them from the job market, preparing them for the reality of the market. And the reality of the market is that not everybody wants to be a lawyer, and not everybody needs to be a lawyer, I will even say. And there are a lot of jobs out there that pay well, where it doesn't matter if you speak French. And if you speak French, it's just a great asset that you bring into the position. And it's very important to also get our young people to be interested in those positions. And so that's why I wanted to include this topic here, because for many years, we usually, in the Francophonie, we usually forget about this segment of the population that is really highly important, because that's really how we prepare the workers of tomorrow. And both of you, you have key position on this matter. I will start with you, Brad. The reason I wanted you to be here because of all the good job you've been doing when it comes to skilled trade and youth. So can we start with that so that you can share with the audience what it has been?
Sure. I mean, merci beaucoup and bonjour à tous. I really appreciate being invited to be part of this. So the Mississauga Board of Trade is a local chamber of commerce for the city of Mississauga area. So we represent businesses, and we spend a lot of our time on advocacy work. And Rose, as a matter of fact, is the chair of our Human Resources Committee. And about a year and a half ago, that committee had a discussion at a meeting and brought forward this issue about the concern that we were not recruiting enough younger people into the skilled trade career opportunities that they are. And there are many. Many businesses are still saying how difficult it is for them to find people to work in all different areas of skilled trades that you can possibly think of. So what our committee did is they decided that we should embark upon a research project, go out and at the secondary school level to see what could be better done within the high school level to encourage young people to be interested in the skilled trades, to have access to the opportunity to work in some of these skills, to see if this is an area they have interest in that they may have never thought of before. Maybe nobody at home had even mentioned it to them as a possibility for what their career could possibly be. And so what we did is we actually embarked on going out and meeting with the 4 different school boards in the Peel region area, which is the City Mississauga area, which included our 2 French school boards. And I thought that was very important that we engage not just the 2 English school boards, but we also get into the French school boards as well. And then there's 2 things that we did. 2 reasons we wanted to go in and meet with the folks in the school boards. Number one is we wanted to find out what has exactly happened. Like, what are you doing now? There was this perception that very little was being done, that all kids were being streamed into academic stuff so that, as Rose said, they're going to become a lawyer, a doctor, an accountant. So there was that perception that the school boards weren't doing as good a job as they should be doing to try and stream more young people into the skilled trades. So I'm going to tell you later, but I mean, that was the perception of what was there. And the second thing was, did the schools have the resources and the talent and the folks that could actually teach the skilled trades available in these schools so that young people could get access to them and to the training? So here's the 2 things we found out. Number one is I was really pleasantly surprised of the attitude of the teachers and principals and others that we met with in both the school boards and some of the administrators, the enthusiasm they had for wanting to expand the teaching of skilled trades within the schools. I was actually thrown a little bit aback by that because I remember going to high school. That's a long time ago, but there certainly wasn't the level of enthusiasm for young people to be involved in the skilled trades as we found that there was when we completed this report. This report's only about a year old now, called a Review of the Skilled Trades in the Secondary School System. So we did this report, made a bunch of recommendations. I'm happy to share that report offline when anyone wants to see it. But the input that we got from the school board representatives was huge in the recommendations that we made. We really honored what they said to us about how they could better embrace skilled trades in the secondary schools. And so the second thing we found out is the schools really do lack the resources to properly run these programs, whether it's the human resource side. You know, a shop teacher can't be all things to all people, right? And a carpentry teacher can't be all things to all people. And maybe we needed to embrace the private sector and get private sector companies that would be willing to come into the schools more often and help teach some of these segments so that the job skills are relevant to what's actually going on in industry today. And we found great enthusiasm for that too. Sure, bring it on. We'd love to have experts from the private sector come in and work in our schools and work with our teachers and help with the curriculum and other kinds of things. And I really thought that was important too. So I'll just leave it at this. We authored the report. The report has been given to the Premier, the Minister of Labour, Skills Development and Training, and the Minister of Education, and there's a number of recommendations for a number of the ministries there. But the bottom line is there is no lack of enthusiasm from what we found in Peel Region between the 4 school boards that we went and saw for encouraging and training and want and wanting to push more young people into the skilled trades. So if we can keep that going, that would be phenomenal. If they happen to be bilingual, that's even better, obviously, for their opportunities, I think, to get jobs. Many people working in the skilled trades speak more than one language. That's very helpful on the job site in many cases, and depending on the clients you're dealing with. So encouraging this kind of thing, and again, seeing that enthusiasm, particularly from the 2 French school boards that I saw when I had the opportunity to meet with them, was excellent. So if that's happening across the province, and I know that I guess Debbie's from a school board up north, and she's going to talk about that a little bit later, but that's great. And I think business appreciates that. The folks looking for these jobs of the future appreciate it. So I'll leave it at that. But we found great enthusiasm. The federal and provincial governments are pumping in a lot more money into these programs, whether it be apprenticeship programs. Last week, the Prime Minister announced the new workforce development agreements with the provinces. They're pumping in billions of more money into that. That's all going to training, particularly in skilled trades. So we've got a lot of wind behind our back right now, and we just got to keep at it.
So, Brad, I just want to go enhance what you said there about it's actually my school board, because my school board is Mon Avenir, which is 40,000 kilometers, which we start from Niagara Falls all the way to Cambridge, all the way to Aurelia and to Peterborough. So actually, the school that you were talking about, Saint Famille, actually has one of the best skills trade programs right now through the specialist high skills major that we have. And and I think one of just, the reason why I think the perception that we get that the kids were not streamlining the kids into the skills is basically a misconception, which started, like, I started in this position 8 years ago. And I can tell you, we made a lot of headway with educators, because educators, and I mean, that's with anybody, you will stream people into the same line of work that you've gone for, right? So if you went to university, you will have a tendency to send the kids through that pathway, because that's the pathway you're kind of comfortable with, right? So we've been working for the past 8 years on the perception of what the trades is in the schools, which I think has brought actually quite a bit of success with our teachers, because now they're aware of, the special programs that we have that you've mentioned from the province, which one of the programs is called OYAP, which is the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program, which supports us, for whether it's for the cooperative education of the kids, for them to participate in different competitions in the trades. Also, getting the girls more implicated in trades, especially trades that are seen as being male dominant. So I think, what you're saying is we've done a lot of headway, I think, in the school boards when it comes to the trades. We still have a lot to do. And I think this is where the work needs to be done, is the perception of the parents and the students. The students we will, give different activities and stuff for them to discover their skills. But the parents still tend to seem to think that success means becoming a lawyer, a doctor, and success, honestly, the first kid I signed up in, that I signed up in the trades, he actually makes more money than me now. And we're talking 8 years ago. So, I think the big work that we need to do in industry and, is to change that perception of the trades, that it is a profession, a distinguishable profession. Anyway, so just to add to what you had said there.
But that's actually what the biggest issue is. And then we still, at this point, we don't know. So for me, as a platform provider, I try to see where can I play a role? How can I help? I know that this is usually a great start to put in people's mind that there is this beautiful thing that has been sitting here right under your nose that you're not looking at. And then there are a lot of children because we have a lot of dropouts in the Francophone immigrant community. So instead of your kids going to Ottawa trying to pursue, I don't know, some nice big name bachelor, and then after 2 years, that kid is going to drop out. Maybe it would have been best to prepare the kid for the trades that are out there. But now, where do we do something to break that perception? Is it the family? Is it with the school board? Is it what are we supposed to do? Because I think maybe that's what people don't know. What are we supposed to do? Who can play a role? And so those that are also listening, they can hear. Because I really want to see this being a top issue in the Francophone community, skilled trade with youth.
The first recommendation in our report was that the provincial government launch a province-wide public education and public relations campaign around the viability of a career in the skilled trades. And although we didn't specifically say we should gear it to Francophones, I think we should. We did say there should be a specific emphasis towards young women and encouraging young women to have a career in the skilled trades. But what we said in our recommendation, and Debbie will back me up on this, is we said you've got to gear it to the parents first. You've got to get the stigma out of the parents' head that being a plumber is less important than being a lawyer or a doctor. And, you know, I realize parents maybe who, you know, had it tougher than maybe they want their children to have it. And they want their children, obviously, to do maybe what they perceive as better than they did. You know, and especially if they were immigrants to Canada and really had to scrape and work hard to build a life here. They want their children, as they say, to do quote unquote better than they did. And they're discounting the skilled trades because they don't think that means they're going to do better. But Debbie gave a great example of that one person who's got a, you know, is now making more than she's making. I started in the property management business, and I had to hire my buddies that I went to high school with, who were the plumber and the electrician. They made way more than I made. I'm managing the building, and they're building, you know, they're billing $150 an hour for plumbing repairs. So, you know, who's smarter? You know, is it about money? Is it about proper careers? So a public education program, and the province started to do some of this, to their credit, through the Ministry of Labor Training and Skills Development. They've done some videos, they ran some commercials. I'm not sure how much of that was in French, and if it isn't, then we got to push the province to get back into the game and run these and make sure they're in French and they speak to the Francophone community, because they should get equal the message that the Anglophone community gets on the skilled trades. So that might be a place to start. Push the government again to run this public education program, gear it to the parents, and show them these are viable careers for their children.
Yeah, and Brad, just to add to what you say, you know, when I speak to the counselors at the schools, they will always tell me, Debbie, this kid, you know, he would be perfect, you know, or she would be perfect to become an electrician or a plumber, but the parent is just not on board. We can't, you know, no matter what, the parent doesn't equate that with success. And I think when you look at being in a trade, you're also a business person, because most likely you're going to be your own entrepreneur. You're going to have your own business because you're going to have the capabilities to do that, to be your own boss. So I don't know if maybe, you know, working on the stigma of the trades is also saying you're not only a tradesperson, you're a tradesperson that's an entrepreneur, you know, and I don't know. So I think maybe, you know, there's a lot of work to be done, I think, on the point of the parents. And I know when I participated at the Canadian National Summit for Trades a couple of years ago, I had talked to industry partners, and I said, you know, what can we do? What can we do to get for parents to see the viability and the importance, and how, you know, that to have the respect of the professions too.
Mhm.
And they said, well, go get the kids. And I think we've been doing that. We've been doing a lot of that, but we still have that issue with the parents. And so I think the starting the public education emphasis is a good start. uh, but I'm not sure, is there something else that could bring us a little bit further with our parents?
Well, I'm sure that there is a thing, and then that's probably one of those. Like in previous panel, there was a conversation about how where like maybe community organization can play a key role in terms of awareness about skill trade. And then when I'm listening to you guys, and I'm going to say, who are even these parents that are having a problem with skill trade? Because where I come from, in my village, I grew up in a village in Africa. And where I come from, the person who has money was the carpenter. It was the woman with the hair salon. Is the person doing the equivalent of the donuts. Is that woman that will be able to actually raise her children from that money? And then so that's what we're talking about. So I think maybe one of the thing is when doing the education with the family, bring it the link to the cultural so that they can see the equivalence of what it is, and then go back to that. But that's probably where a lot of community organization can play a role to bring that information and bring the awareness to the parents. Because what is the point? The same way one of the panelists, the early panel was saying that what is the point of having somebody giving housing subsidy for somebody to live in an apartment full of cockroaches when that money maybe can be helping to a down payment and live in a different city. The same thing. Why build the kid and to be a lawyer and then barely even make $40,000 or $30,000 per year in Toronto, and you don't have, it takes you 10 years to even save $10,000 when actually you can be a plumber, you can be that construction, you can be into renovation and do all of that, and then be able to afford a better life than all these so-called academic people. And I think that some of the immigrants, the biggest thing that they want first is to see their children successful in life and then getting that fulfillment. So maybe it's just that conversation, because I'm telling you, the immigrant where we come from, in my side of the world, the people who have money is usually the people in trades. It's not really those government public servant, so-called, with the big diplomas. The one who will always have cash is the carpenter, carpenter in the village.
I just, you know what, Rose, I want to add to what you're saying, because we explained to parents also, but I think that most people don't know this, is that if a student does choose to go in the pathway of apprenticeship, basically his post-secondary education is paid for. When he does his, because it's structured differently for each trade, but when he does his level 1 theory at the college level, usually there is a fee that he pays, which is very minimum, like probably $1,500, because there's all kinds of bursaries also that are available to the students that are in the apprenticeship program. So the student finishes, let's say, his 5-year apprenticeship as an electrician, and has zero debt, and actually is making money during this time, other than a student who just goes into a general program in university, which I did. Because you did say it, I took Italian literature. What are you going to do with that? So I had to go back to school after, right? Because it was beautiful. I had this beautiful bachelor of, but it was not really what the marketplace was looking for. So anyway, look at me, parents, I know they look at success, have to look at happiness, but also, if you're looking at a program that is not going to cost you that much money and give you a great career.
This looking down at the trades thing, that's a North American thing. That doesn't exist in Europe. I don't know Africa as well, but it certainly sounds like, Rose, that that's not the case in Africa. Those are actually the people who are looked up to. For some reason, this is a North American driven thing, certainly Canada, where we just don't value the folks that come and fix our plumbing and do our electrical and build our homes and make our food and everything else, who are all people who are skilled trades persons. We for some reason, we just haven't had that level of value. The only other thing I'll add about the skilled trades is, the skilled trades isn't the stereotype that it used to be, with the plumber with the pants hanging down and the, Schneider from one day at a time. I mean, the world has evolved. Computerization, innovation, technology, they're huge in the skilled trades now. So it might be you're actually programming a piece of machinery that's now cutting whatever it is that needs to go and be part of an assembly of a car or a machine part or whatever the case may be. So it's not the old, my hands are going to get dirty, I'm going to be sweaty all day long, and I don't want to do that work. A lot of the skilled trades today are very highly computerized and technical. And those skills are interchangeable. You could be in one sector operating some machinery or some robotics here, and then shift into another one fairly quickly because you've got that basic computer knowledge and related technology. That's not my expertise. I'll tell my joke now. I took political science, and trust me, after being a politician, there's no science in politics. So I don't know why they call it political science. I've never understood that at all. So now I'm just a recovering politician. But these trades are really evolving with technology, and they're becoming really heavily specialized skills that are very much needed in the workplace. So the old stereotype of what a tradesperson used to be is very, very different today.
And actually, just to say, what you're saying, Brad, is the school that you did work with from our board. That's actually the mission and the vision of the specialist high skills major in construction. Is the team there is concentrating on skills that are required from the sector, which are technology skills. So actually the equipment, everything that we've been doing with the kids, the partnerships that we've built are actually along the demands of the sector in technology. So the kids will be better prepared for their post-secondary, depending on what they choose in that field of construction.
Well, I hope all the people who are listening, they heard, and then there's really a lot of work to be done there in terms of education, awareness, and promoting this sector, because there is a lot of opportunities there for families that can really make a difference in breaking the cycle of poverty and getting these young people long-lasting careers. And that I want them to reach out to the school boards. I want them to reach out to MBOT and then see whatever can be done to partner to bring the message out there. So I want to thank you very much for being here today and be able to share this information. Is just the beginning, because it's really something, like I said, that I want to play a key role in pushing this message out there, because I've seen too many dropouts, university dropouts in my community. I've seen so many people in poverty, when I also know that here there is a sector here where people are making a huge amount of money that are making really a difference in the lives of people, and they're not taking advantage of that and getting in today. And